The boring stock market strategy that can build real wealth. Most people enter the stock market with the same question: what stock can make me rich? They search for the next Apple, the next Nvidia, the next company nobody has discovered yet. But here is the uncomfortable possibility. The obsession with finding the next big winner may be exactly what keeps you from building serious wealth. Because the stock market doesn't usually reward the person who is the most excited. It rewards the person who can stay invested when excitement disappears. Think about it. Imagine two investors. The first spends every week searching for hot stocks. One month they are excited about artificial intelligence, the next month it's cryptocurrency, then a small company suddenly becomes popular online and they move their money again. The second investor does something that looks almost embarrassingly simple. They invest regularly. They own quality businesses or diversified investments. They reinvest their returns. They increase their contributions when their income rises. And when the market crashes, they don't suddenly abandon their entire strategy. Which investor has the better chance of building lasting wealth? The boring one. And that's the part people underestimate. Boring is not necessarily a weakness in investing. Sometimes boring is the feature. A good long-term investment strategy should be boring enough that you can actually follow it for decades. Because your biggest enemy may not be the market, it may be your own behavior. When prices are rising, greed tells you to buy more because you are afraid of missing out. When prices collapse, fear tells you to sell because you are afraid of losing everything. And somewhere between those two emotions, investors repeatedly sabotage themselves. The boring investor plays a different game. They understand that a market decline doesn't automatically mean their long-term plan has failed. They understand that owning a productive business is different from betting on tomorrow's price. And they understand something even more important. You don't need to predict every market movement to participate in long-term economic growth. Consider an ordinary worker who invests a manageable amount every month. They don't have millions to start with. They aren't looking for a magical 10-bagger. They simply keep adding money, reinvesting what they earn, learning enough to avoid obvious mistakes, and gradually increasing their contributions as their income improves. Years later, something strange happens.
The investment account begins growing faster, not because they suddenly became a genius investor, but because their previous investments are now producing returns of their own. That's compounding. And this is where the boring strategy becomes powerful. Your early years may feel disappointing. You contribute money, wait, and wonder when something dramatic is going to happen. But wealth building often has a frustrating characteristic. The results can look insignificant right before they become significant. Of course, boring doesn't mean blindly buying anything and forgetting about it. You still need to understand what you own, diversify appropriately, control unnecessary fees, manage risk, and invest according to your time horizon. And no strategy guarantees wealth. Companies fail, markets crash, economies change. But the objective isn't to eliminate uncertainty. It's to build a system that doesn't require you to be right about everything. That may be the real secret. You don't need one incredible investment. You need thousands of ordinary decisions that don't destroy the incredible opportunity created by time. So the next time you are tempted to ask, what's the stock that's going to make me rich? Ask a better question. What investment system can I realistically follow for the next 10, 20, or 30 years? Because getting wealthy isn't always about finding something extraordinary. Sometimes it's about doing something ordinary long enough for compounding to become extraordinary. The goal isn't to get rich quickly. The goal is to become wealthy slowly enough that you don't sabotage yourself.